You pull into the driveway. Next door, there is a brand new Ranger parked out the front. Big wheels, tow bar, still wearing the dealer plates. And quietly, you think, how on earth are they affording that? You are not doing anything wrong. You go to work, you pay your bills, you put a little away when you can. But somehow it still feels like everyone around you is miles ahead of where you are. Here is what nobody tells you. That feeling is almost never based on real numbers. It is based on driveways, holidays, and social media. And the actual numbers tell a completely different story. So today we are going through what everyday Australians really have at every age. Real median wealth, from your 20s right through to retirement. Not the flex, just the facts. And I want to be straight with you about one thing first. There is a big difference between the average and the median, and it matters enormously here. The average gets dragged upwards by a small number of very rich people. One billionaire walks into the room and suddenly everyone looks wealthy on paper. The median is simply the person standing in the exact middle. The median is you. It is the honest number. And when you look at the median instead of the average, most Australians are nowhere near as far behind as they have been made to feel. Let us start with net worth. That is everything you own, minus everything you owe. Your savings, your super, your home, if you have one, minus the mortgage and any other debt. The cleanest Australian figures we have come from the Grattan Institute. Released in 2026, the Bureau of Statistics did not run its usual wealth survey this time, so this modelling is our honest benchmark. And the first number surprised me. In your 20s, you are not really building wealth yet. You are building the runway. Most of this decade goes on rent, a car, and a HECS debt quietly coming out of every single pay. The median super balance in your mid-20s is only about $21,000. $21,000. That is the middle of the entire country, according to tax office data from 2024. So if your 20s feel like you are treading water, that is because for most people, they genuinely are. Nobody is quietly winning this decade. They just happen to look like they are. Then your 30s arrive. Your income lifts, but so does everything else. The rent goes up. Maybe there are kids now. Maybe your taste just got more expensive without you really noticing. By your early 30s, the median super balance is around $40,000. And the typical household net worth for younger Australians, those roughly 25 to 40, is about $330,000. $330,000. That is the middle. So if you are sitting there certain you should have more by now, look at where the real middle sits before you judge yourself. Now here's the thing about that shiny new Ranger next door. You are seeing the car. You are not seeing the $90,000 loan quietly attached to it. The Range Rover on the corner might be on a novated lease. The renovation might be sitting on the mortgage redraw. The big overseas holiday might be split across 4 afterpay installments. This is the quiet trap. We compare our own real position, which we know every messy detail of, against everyone else's highlight reel, which we know absolutely nothing about. And the flex is expensive. Every dollar spent looking wealthy is a dollar not spent becoming wealthy. The appearance and the reality are very often moving in completely opposite directions. The person who looks the most impressive on the street is very often the one with the least behind them. And the quiet neighbor in the 15-year-old Corolla might be miles ahead. And none of this is your fault. You live in a world where every screen is an ad, and everyone is gently encouraged to look richer than they really are. Just recognizing that is half the game. By your 40s, the gap between looking wealthy and being wealthy really starts to show. This is the decade where the maths either compounds in your favor or the debt quietly compounds against you. The median super balance in your early 40s sits around $80,000. It can feel low at the halfway mark of your working life. But this is also when a mortgage quietly starts turning into real equity. That is why household net worth jumps so much here. For Australians aged between 41 and 64, the median net worth is about $959,000. $959,000. But do not let that figure scare you either. A big chunk of it is the family home, not spendable cash sitting in a bank account. In your 50s, retirement stops being some abstract idea off in the distance. It starts to feel real, and this is the decade where people finally look properly at their super. The median balance in your early 50s is around $160,000. It is the fastest growing decade for most people, as bigger balances finally start earning more on their own. That still sounds well short of what you will hear that you need. And it is, but it is only half the story, because most Australians do not actually retire on their super alone. So let us talk about the number everyone loves to quote. To retire comfortably, a single Australian is said to need about $630,000 in super. $630,000 for a single person. For a couple, the figure is around $730,000. That is the ASFE comfortable standard for 2026. And I know exactly how that lands. You look at where your own super sits today, then at a target like that, and it can feel completely out of reach. But here is what almost nobody tells you. That comfortable figure is not something you are meant to fund entirely on your own. There is a second layer sitting underneath almost every retirement in this country. It is the age pension. A full single pension is currently about $31,000 a year, according to Services Australia. Not a luxury, but a real indexed income that lasts for life. For a huge number of Australians, that pension does a big share of the heavy lifting in retirement. Your super is not the whole picture. It simply sits on top of that base. So the honest picture is not $630,000 or nothing. It is a pension floor, with whatever super you build stacked on top. Every dollar you add lifts you higher. So let us go back to that driveway and that brand new Ranger sitting next door. That nagging feeling that somehow everybody is quietly ahead of you. Here is the truth the numbers actually show. Most Australians are sitting far closer to the middle than they ever think. That behind feeling is manufactured, not measured. Wealth is not what is parked in the driveway. It is what is left after the driveway is paid for. And that part is invisible, which is exactly why the flex fools everyone. You do not need to win your 20s or your 30s. You just need to keep quietly adding in a world that is loudly spending. That is the whole game, and it is one you can absolutely play. One quick thing before we wrap up. Everything here is general information only. It is not financial, legal, or tax advice. For your own situation, it is worth getting independent advice that genuinely fits you. If this cleared a few things up, do me a favor. Give it a like. It helps this kind of content reach more Australians who need it. Subscribe and turn on notifications so the next one finds you. See you in the next one.